Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. The first item on our agenda is a proclamation for Municipal Government Works Month.
Donna won't, so I will.
Don't we need someone who actually... Okay. So, Municipal Government Works Month, November 2020. Whereas the city of Hagerstown was incorporated in 1762, whereas Maryland is home to 157 municipalities, and whereas municipal government represents the most responsible level of government, allowing citizens to have direct access to elected officials. And whereas in an effort to educate citizens about municipal government and the importance of their participation, the city of Hagerstown is proud to promote municipal government awareness. And whereas municipalities have enhanced the quality of life for their respective residents by providing excellent community-based services and helping to make Maryland a great place to live, work, play, and explore. Now therefore, with the support of the City Council, I, Robert E. Brucci II, Mayor of the City of Hagerstown, hereby join the Maryland Municipal League in declaring the month of November 2020 as Municipal Government Works Month in Hagerstown, Maryland. Want to say a few words, Scott?
Sure. Just an opportunity to thank all municipal staff we have. This has been a difficult year for all of us, and it looks like it's going to continue for a little while. But I especially want to thank all the staff that, through this pandemic, continue to provide services at a quality level and 100% of our services to all the city residents through this pandemic. And I know the citizens appreciate it, and I know I certainly do, so thank you.
All right, I'm going to echo that, and also, you know, it's been my honor and privilege to serve as the mayor of Hagerstown for nearly 15 years altogether, and I can tell you that our city employees and those who work every single day for us are second to none in this country or in this world. So thank you all for everything that you do, and continue doing it. As Scott said, looks like 2020 is not going to leave us anytime soon. So buckle down and get ready. It looks like it's going to go crazy again. So thank you all very much.
Sure.
Well, we're around each other.
Yeah, you guys to the center. You know what the Proclamation is? Sure. Smile, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Got it. Thanks, sir.
All right, next up, events, street banner permission, Maryland Theater's donut drive-by event, and noise ordinance exception, Mulberry Lofts Jingle Mingle. Kitty?
Good afternoon. We're here today just to go over two events briefly. We'll start with the Maryland Theater's donut drive-by event. Jessica's here to answer any questions you may have at the end of this little recap of what was in the memo. As you probably know, the donut drop has been replaced this year by the donut drive-by. As part of that event, which will happen on the morning of December 31st, the Maryland Theater wants to put a banner, a temporary street banner above South Potomac Street, be attached to 2 mechanical lifts, and will be at least 15 feet above the roadway. Installation is scheduled to take place either the evening of December 30th or early on the morning of the 31st, and will be removed that evening. The city's logistics team has already reviewed all the specs for this proposal and has okayed it, and we already have a certificate of insurance in place from the theater. So that's pretty much it. This does require approval by mayor and council per city code.
Jessica, anything you want to say?
The banner's just going to showcase our sponsors for the event, and it's also going to say, "Donut look back, honk to say goodbye to 2020." Which we all can appreciate.
Yes.
No, we're hoping that we can still offer this event. I stay by day, but this is the best that we could come up with based on current state guidelines, and we're excited to be able to do what we can, so.
Good. Anybody else? Everybody
I'm good.
okay? We're all good? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
That's
for
fine.
your
Thank you.
support, as always.
That
And I'll
honk, if
have,
you're
Claire
ready to
this
say
way.
goodbye to 2020, it's probably gonna need a noise ordinance too.
Which is a great segue to our next event, which is the Jingle Mingle, which is a holiday marketplace that is being organized by Charlie and Sam's Bake Shop and River Bottom Roasters. It's a two-day marketplace happening December 12th and 13th from 9 to 4 each day, and they are planning to have a DJ playing amplified music in the Mulberry Street parking lot. So that also requires an exemption from the noise ordinance by the mayor and council. Craig is here from River Bottom to answer any questions, and Marilise Gonzalez is here. She's the actual event organizer. She can also answer any questions you might have.
I only have one question, other than that it'd be a great birthday present to go there and have some of these goodies. My only concern is there any chance that on Sunday mornings it would interfere with anybody's church services?
I don't think we should. I don't think it should be an issue. I mean,
And that would be my only concern, otherwise I
Do you have
have
any-
no issues at all.
No, I don't, there's the outdoor church, it's around the corner, up the hill there by the sheets. I think they have their amplified music on,
I wouldn't think they'd be
but I don't
doing
think
it.
ours is gonna be that loud.
I don't think they'd be outdoors too much in December 31st. I mean,
No.
in December, when you're doing it.
December 12th and
Yeah,
13th.
I have no
Sunday
problems
morning.
with it. I just wanted to make sure we think about that issue if there is one.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that loud.
Great. Look forward to being there.
Yeah,
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, we'll have some holiday cocktails, coffee cocktails, and different things for people to hang out in the lot and support the local artisan vendors.
It's great. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you guys for being here.
All right, next up is a preliminary agenda review. As always, stop me if you need to. I'll call it to order. I'll give the invocation. We'll have the pledge of the flag. We'll follow the rules and procedures, of course. Meeting schedules, Tuesday, Monday, November 23rd. All right, so anyway, Monday, November 23rd, is the oath of office of new administration. Tuesday, the 24th, is a work session and organizational meeting. Tuesday, December 1st, is a work session at 4. The 8th is a work session at 4, and the 15th is a regular session at 7. And we don't see you guys again until next year. We have some appointments. The City Ethics Commission, Louis Metzner, his term to expire on September 31st of 2025. September 1st of 2025. And Joe Jefferson, his term to expire September 1st of 2021. Hagerstown Housing Authority, Lynette Cunningham, she's the resident commissioner, term to expire August 30th, 2023. Historic District Commission, Chris George, term to expire November 30th, 2023. Board of Zoning Appeals, Janice Kelch, term to expire November 30th, 2023. Okay, and then we have guests, and I have a proclamation for Transgender Day of Remembrance and some special recognitions. Citizen comments will be next. We'll do in-person comments, and then unless the governor decides to do something different today after 5 o'clock. Or you can send your comments in via email to councilcomments@hagerstownmd.org no later than 5 p.m. on Tuesday, November 17th. We'll adopt the minutes of October 6th, 13th, 20th, and the 27th. On the consent agenda for the fire department is the annual uniform purchase, BJ's Custom Creations, Hagerstown, Maryland, an estimated cost of $35,000. Triple combination attack pumper, 4 guys, stainless tank and equipment, out of Marsdale, PA, $573,259. Information technology, we have Tyler Pace, 15, training package, Tyler Technologies, Dallas, Texas, $11,775. Barracuda Central Security Software Renewal, System Source, Hunt Valley, Maryland, $12,986. Department of Parks and Engineering, Mitchell Avenue at Railroad Overpass Traffic Signal, Milton Stamper Builders, Hagerstown, Maryland, not to exceed $199,754. A deck replacement for the Hamilton Run Box Culvert, Jefferson Boulevard, Concrete General, Inc., out of Gaithersburg, Maryland, $94,800. Under utilities, wastewater, we have sludge holding tank cleaning services, Sinagro, Baltimore, Maryland, $25,857. Under unfinished business, the approval of an ordinance authorizing the sale of property located at 170 West Washington Street. The approval of an ordinance, 352 Summit Avenue, Quick Lane. The approval of an ordinance amending Chapter 82, discriminatory practices of the City Code, updated personal protections. The approval of an ordinance, acquisition of real property for the urban improvement project. Under new business, the approval of resolution, settlement agreement with Cascades Tissue Group. The approval of resolution, addendum to residential lease for 11850 Indian Lane. The approval of resolution, amendment to agreement with American Traffic Solutions, Inc., doing business as Vera Mobility. The approval of reimbursement to Eastern Utilities for lobbyist services. The approval of purchase for materials for North Point and former Cascades. The approval of a license agreement for the Barberingham School for the Arts Foundation, Inc. for engraved pavers. The approval of a change order for 2020 pavement preservation program. The approval of Potiphar Pool Management Services Agreement. The approval of a temporary overfill for fire department position. The approval of exemption for banners in the right-of-way, donut drive-by, and the approval of a variance from the noise ordinance for the Mingle Jingle. Then we'll have the city administrator comments, mayor and council comments, and then we will adjourn. Any questions? Comments, concerns? All right. Sounds easy peasy. All right. I had to say that because of my mask, right? I mean, you know. Someone absconded with my city mask. So. All right. Lobbyist services for Maryland Renewable Portfolio Standard. Cap for solar requirements. Nathan.
Good evening, thank you. As you may recall, last year, the 5 municipal electric companies, along with their local delegation, put together a bill to cap our solar requirements for the Renewable Energy Portfolio Standard. We had some momentum. It passed through the House, and then COVID hit, and it never hit the Senate floor. We would like to, the 5 munis are getting together again this year to put forth the same effort. They are, Easton is sort of heading the whole, the efforts, and they have gone out and acquired a lobbyist service to help us with the virtual hearings and so forth. And so staff is asking that we assist them in that, with those financials. The total is $45,000, and Hagerstown Light Department contribution based on a load sharing method would be just a little above $20,000, if you're agreeable to it. And yeah, ultimately, the savings to the customers through in the out years from 2022 and beyond could equate to millions of dollars in savings.
Sounds good.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
If we're successful, that is.
What would it mean if you actually had to hit 14.5% by 2028? I mean, what would the city look like in terms of solar collectors?
Well, we purchased, our wholesale power supplier purchases the renewable energy credits.
Okay.
So we wouldn't have solar panels
You wouldn't
throughout
have
town.
panels in the city.
Right, we'd actually have to, they would go out for us and purchase those credits
All right.
on our behalf.
Okay.
Sounds good?
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Getting a little feedback out here. All right, next up, request to fill 3 firefighter positions and 1 position over complement.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. You have a memo in your packet where we have tacit approval from the city administrator and the finance director to fill a total of 4 vacant firefighter positions, 3 that currently exist and are part of our funded roster, and 1 that would result in the retirement of Fire Marshal Doug DeHaven effective December 31st. Our reason for being in front of you today is to get approval to fill the 4th position off our current vacancy list so that we can offer a conditional job offers, put all 4 candidates through the required background checks, psych evaluations, physical evaluations necessary to start them on January 4th. As you may or may not know, we generally have an 8 to 10 week day work assignment for joint training to bring those people up to speed to count towards minimum staffing. Some are local this time, some are from out of state. That's a routine practice. It's simply economy of scale and efficient for us to do as many as we can at one time and not onesie-twosies. So we would anticipate that these folks would be ready for minimum staffing on or about March 1st. And that's the long and short of it. You also know that the county is getting ready to extend job offers to up to 33 firefighters during the same time period. Our list is ready. We're ready to go, and we'd certainly like to get the best and brightest off of that list. I think that many of the candidates that we have on our list will also appear on the county's list, and they'll take the first opportunity it's provided them. So that's our request today. Is there any questions?
I strongly support the request.
Have my support.
Yeah, I support it.
Sounds like it's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Proposed holiday cheer grant program.
Good afternoon, everybody. With me, I have Rachel Poffenberger, our newest DCED hire. She is our Economic Development Programs Assistant, and then Kitty Clark, Event Specialist. And today, we are coming to you to introduce a proposed holiday cheer program. This started with Kitty receiving an email from Parks and Rec asking us, or telling us that they were excited to introduce a Holiday Lights driving tour, and were asking us if we knew of any downtown participation or businesses that normally are looking forward to putting on an exciting light show for the holidays. And due to COVID and the general temperature of our businesses and things that we are seeing and surveying, we did not think that we could ensure participation from our businesses in regards to having a big turnout with holiday decorations and lights. So with that, we came up with an idea of a way that businesses could participate without having a cost associated with it and without adding hardship to an already struggling time of the year, especially with COVID upon us. So with that, we have drafted a grant application called the Holiday Cheer Program, where depending on if you are a single business or a property owner of a multi-tenant building, you could receive from $300 to $900 and grant funds that you could use to decorate your storefront, inside of your storefront, your building with lights and things of that nature. There are some eligibility requirements, but a new thing for our department is this is available for nonprofit and for-profit businesses because it is coming out of Main Street. It would be in our Main Street district, and some of the main goals of this is to really benefit our businesses and give them a little extra love during the holiday season, as well as bolstering economic development. We're hoping that if our businesses can put on a great show of creativity on their storefronts downtown and have some holiday lights and decorations, that people would want to come downtown with their families, and they can do it COVID safe. They can do it from a car, they can do it walking down the streets, they can even see it virtually on social media. And they would hopefully come downtown, walk around, maybe grab a food or a drink, pay for parking until it's free, and things of that nature that would really help benefit not only the business, but our economy and the community members themselves. It's a great holiday fun, festive way to do the holidays safely, and really have a way to not expire all of your funds in order to bring some holiday cheer downtown. With this, Main Street plans to use $17,000 of their budget in order to leave $4,500 left for the rest of the fiscal year. Due to COVID, as of July 1, we have not really had an immense amount of programming that we can schedule and events. Due to COVID, we've had to cancel our Christkindl Market. That would have been, I believe, on its 4th year of a 2-day event, so that was very unfortunate. So with this expense of $17,000, we could benefit anywhere between 40 to 55 businesses, depending if they are a property owner asking for $900 or a single business asking for $300. And we would have $4,500 left for the rest of the fiscal year to do COVID-safe programming and marketing as it seems available. And yeah, I think that's our program as it's here. As I mentioned, you would be able to see it virtually, and I will then take it over to Rachel as she'll discuss how we will have this event virtually available to those who cannot or do not want to leave their homes.
Yeah, so primarily we're going to be using Facebook to broadcast information about the grant, and also we're going to be holding a competition where whenever a business is done decorating, they'll tell us and they'll either send in a picture of their storefront, or we will post the picture, go out and take a picture and post it on our social media. And the idea is 1 like will equal 1 vote, so whoever gets the most likes will win. And we aren't sure what we are going to give as a prize yet. Could be a banner, could be a wreath. We're open to suggestions, so that's part of it. We're also going to upload a self-guided walking tour on Facebook and our website, and it'll basically show all the different businesses that are participating and where to find them, so it'll be easy for people to see where lights are located. I think both of these things will be a fun and interactive addition to the grant.
And as far as the actual approvals and administration of the grant, Kitty, Rachel, and myself will all be working on this. It's going to take a lot of work as it's a very fast deadline, but we think it's really worth it. And in general, how it would go is somebody would fill out the application, send it in to us. We would approve it or deny it, making sure that the eligibility requirements are there. And then at that point, we would tell them, go ahead, purchase your product or service, send us the receipts. Once we verify the money was spent for those purposes, we will send them the grant funds and continue with the photography and uploading it and starting the contests. We are attempting to apply for a $500,000 grant via Main Street. So once we do have that application go through, and if we have funding given to us, Rachel and I will primarily be spending our time doing that. So Kitty has volunteered to take over the grant program entirely, should that need to happen. But we have all hands on deck here and would love to be able to give this program out to our businesses.
Sounds good.
I mean, I appreciate the creativity. You know, I know that you have to kind of really dig deep to figure out how to do something for the community. So, you know, hats off to Parks and Rec, and, you know, what a great opportunity for the businesses. I think the only thing that I would love to see the Youth Advisory Council involved in something like this. I think that, you know, with their expertise, if you will, with social media and getting it on other platforms that they use, that would be helpful, just a different audience. But, I mean, I think it's great. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's something we need this time of year. We're going to need it. So I like the idea.
All right, sounds fantastic.
Sounds good. All right. Great. Thank you. Thanks.
All right, 3064 North Potomac Street.
Good afternoon. So in the early part of 2020, we were attempting to sell 36-40 North Potomac Street, and at a time we were under contract with 339 Antietam LLC. And due to the pandemic, we had worked to add a clause to that contract for a financial feasibility study, because everything with timing-wise, as the contract was being executed, restrictions through the COVID-19 pandemic began to hit right about that same time. So ultimately, the buyer did decide to opt out without penalty just a few weeks back. So we're in a state of transition with the property now back into the CNS program. And during the contract period, we did have a vacancy pop up at the 36 to 40 North Potomac Street building. So we thought it would be a good chance to look at maybe a different strategy to occupy that property in the future as we move forward, understanding that, again, the building is still for sale and potentially could be sold at any given time. So as of now, we have one occupied commercial space, which is Hanatai on the first floor on the north side of the property. We have 4 residential units up on the upper floors, and 3 of the 4 are occupied. One is vacant. And the Department of Community Economic Development, as a DCED program, had worked with artist tenants as a gallery rotating art initiative for the other commercial space, which has been unoccupied or has not been up and running since the pandemic hit. So with all these factors in play, we thought it would be a good time to come back and seek direction from the Mayor and City Council on moving forward with a strategy to occupy that property as we move forward. We are potentially recommending looking at market rate housing occupancy as opposed to restricted artist housing occupancy, and possibly even looking at a traditional tenant or a commercial tenant for the what was the gallery space or what was being used as the gallery space. The artist apartments were initiated, I think, in 2014. I believe 13 artists have occupied the units since that began. They are a very discounted rate compared to what the market rate would be. I believe the second floor units are rented at $500 per month. The third floor units are a little bit smaller. They're rented at $450 a month. Market rate tenancy there, just based on some quick research, I believe I had that in the memo as well. We're looking at possibly a range of $650 a month to $725 a month of what market rate rents could be for those upper floor residential units. And what was the gallery space or what was being used as the gallery space, that's approximately 1,500 square feet of potential commercial space that could be rented as well. So at this time, we're seeking direction from the council on how we would like to move forward with that property and getting it occupied. The upper floor units, when we were working through the artist lofts programming, there was an artist application process, an artist committee that helped the city staff review the applications. We would be proposing no artist qualifications. It would be possibly like the Indian Lane process to mirror seeking market rate tenants. And then for the commercial space, it could just be, again, seeking commercial tenants at market rate.
So was the program as originally contemplated to have this collection of artists, did that just kind of fizzled?
It's not, wouldn't say it fizzled. I think it's just we're maybe at a crossroads. We could certainly continue that. The gallery operations, I think, have certainly been impacted with the pandemic when we were trying to obviously keep, restrictions of people in spaces and large gatherings. But again, it's looking at the overall, I think, strategy of property management, also looking at the fact that really when we had it sold, there was no restriction for the property to remain artist housing under private ownership. So if the pandemic wouldn't have happened and 339 Antietam LLC would have moved forward, that private owner had free reign to rent the property as they desired.
And the market rates you're talking about here, that's compatible with student housing rates?
Yes, and the units are actually, they were finished and rehabilitated at the same type of level as what the student housing projects have been. Granite countertops, they're open layouts, hardwood floors, upgraded kitchens and bathrooms, air conditioning systems. Building has a full fire suppression system. So they are the same level of finish as most of our student housing unit projects as well.
Yeah, I would love to see something else in the gallery there, like a Hanatai, another commercial entity, and I think, like you were saying, that was going to happen anyway if the building sold. So I have no objections to go to market rate.
think that the difficulty for me, and I agree with Austin, I don't have any significant reservation to the conversion of the commercial space because I've never felt that the current use generated the magnitude of interest in foot traffic and in sort of, pedestrian activity that some thought it may. But on the rental side, the apartments, I kind of look at it, we have thousands of market rate rental in our urban core. And I felt that when we supported the sort of set aside of the rental for a specific profession of population, it was to encourage individuals that may otherwise not consider downtown to consider downtown, and to do so with the vision that they would become engaged in downtown. And so for me, I kind of look at that and say, the reality is 6 months, a year from now, I would envision we're going to get another offer. It'll likely be out of our hands. And for me, it doesn't seem worth, the couple $100 per apartment doesn't really seem worth losing that particular component, being, the tenant that we want to be engaged in the arts that we want to occur downtown for the next 6 to 8 months, rather than, just be one of, thousands of units that are available where, there is no sort of drive or direction to get individuals that may be more motivated, to be engaged in the A&E components of downtown. And at the same time, also maybe, and maybe this is a bit selfish, but be able to provide a product, so to speak, to whoever may end up buying it, to have the stability of good tenancy already in place. You know what I mean? And see what the benefit to that is. Not that it has to be artists and whatever some private property owner at some point is going to do with it. I'm trying to weigh, the couple extra $100. I mean, let's face it, we're already, sort of on a loss on that property financially anyway. I'm not really sure it's worth not continuing to put artists in it in the rental portion for the next 6 to 12 months that we'll likely own it. But the commercial space, I agree, something more active and engaging has to happen there. So.
I agree with Kristen.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I can see, I'm okay with that.
So we could look at continuing artist occupancy on the upper floors and then
As long as you're getting folks, because I get the feeling you're saying, when you answered Austin's question, I get the feeling you're saying, yeah, we're still getting interest from artists that want to rent the space.
Yes.
If you came to me and said, hey, look, part of the problem is we just don't have anybody that's of an artist background or of an artist profession that wants to rent the space, then I'd say, yeah, if there's no demand for the product, then we need to change the product. But in this case, I hear you saying we need to change the commercial product because it isn't selling. But I also hear you saying we've still got interest in the residential side of the product, still demand there. So we might as well just keep promoting it to those individuals within those professions that we want engaged in that downtown A&E sort of theme, as long as we continue to own it, which, again, to me, just doesn't seem like it's going to be all that much longer.
Are the apartments currently full?
3 of the 4 are occupied.
3 of the 4.
Just 1 is currently vacant. And we can certainly take that approach to continue the artists programming on the upper floors and then begin marketing what was the gallery space as available commercial space, 1,500 square feet. Most of it's fully renovated. I don't think we would need any, do we need any action for next week for that? So we can just begin that in the coming days.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Rodney, with Joe and Johnson there, and the CDBG amendment for capital improvement project funding transfers.
One of the items I believe on the preliminary agenda review was the approval of the contract for the Mitchell Avenue Signal Project for Milton Stamper Builders, and that's part of tying into this request to amend the CDBG action plan. I believe when we had first worked on the Mitchell Avenue Signal Project, we were looking at a budget based on the consultant's data and estimation process of approximately $150,000 for that CDBG funded project. Bids came in, I believe, a bit higher than anticipated. So as bids were coming in, we were working previously on a plan on available $50,000 of CDBG funding that Rodney was hoping to maybe apply to the handicap accessibility ramp project. But in the midst of that process, the bid opening for Mitchell Avenue project came in, and I think priority needs changed there from Rodney's perspective. So we are hoping to plug that gap of the Mitchell Avenue Signal project with the available $50,000 of CDBG funds so we can complete that project in full. And then the additional funding change would be the CDBG budget of fiscal year 21 of $100,000 of CDBG funds for accessibility ramps would go up to $120,000. I believe the mayor and city council had already approved a highway user revenue transfer, so that would free up some of that money finally. And Rodney, I don't know if you want to provide any insight on the process or the priorities for you and the Mitchell Avenue project over the ramps.
I just would like to say that the project's proposed is to put a traffic signal at the overpass, so you won't have to blow your horn anymore. And I think that's a good thing. And we can have a signal there that works very responsive to traffic, and I think it's time for that to happen. That's all.
You got an update on Basil by any chance?
I'm hoping that it's open next Friday.
There you go, Chris.
I still have some work to do with Hetzer on some different things, but definitely before Thanksgiving, and I'm hoping end of next week.
Cool.
They've been working 6 days a week, and thank goodness the weather's been great.
Yeah, we've gotten lucky there.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything? Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
City Administrator.
And Mayor, just a reminder that tomorrow's Veterans Day and all city offices will be closed tomorrow. Back at it on Thursday. If you get a chance, remember why we're off tomorrow, and it's to pay honor to veterans that have allowed us to be here as we are. So just a notification of that. I believe it's also posted about trash pickup as well, so check the Facebook page related to trash pickup if you're on the Wednesday schedule.
Well, it says there's no change to trash pickup.
There you go. It's no change. Also, not sure what the governor is going to mention today as far as congregations of people or whatnot. So once we figure that out, we'll be able to update you on swearing in, the swearing-in ceremony, and any changes that may impact us moving forward. We'll find that out here in about half an hour, I guess. That's it for me.
Thank you. Kristen?
I have nothing this evening.
Austin?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing tonight.
Luke?
I actually have something tonight. Won't be long. Anybody remember where they were January 21, 2017? I was at the Women's March in Washington, D.C. And that day there was a clarion's call that went out for women to become active in politics, to go home after that march and to organize, to be community organizers, to vote, and most importantly, to run for office. And most importantly, to run for local offices. And here today, 4 years later, we have 3 women on the council, 1 woman is a mayor, and a woman representing the city in Annapolis, and 3 of them of color. And I have to tell you, it is a proud day in Hagerstown. this country and this city needs more women doing what they're doing right now, and I want to congratulate all that were involved in it, and it just makes me feel that 4 years ago was a success. Thank you all. That's all.
Thank you. I can't, I'm good. Nothing
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, I don't have anything. We'll see you next week.